Well, alright, I got the scale out of there, as much as I could anyway, into that wooden pipe, but you can see down in there, can't see anything anymore. It used to be filled right up to the point of these threads just piled full of scale. And you can see this little bit of scale here. I got this much after completely filling this pan, like, because the water's right there, you see. And look at this, stuff like this. Sorry about the light, but let me turn that light off. Ah, much better. Yeah, this, when people say mineral water, this is it. This is scale buildup, calcium, and all sorts of other stuff. It crumbles pretty easy. I'm just crushing my fingers here. You can see all this. Yeah, this isn't like a pipe coming disintegrating. That scale buildup. And that was from pretty much to here, all the way down to here. That's the length of my fingers. So it was, from here to here and a little bit more. And what I did, I took this pipe off, this drain pipe. There is a, oh, there we go. There's this hex cast into this. This is just a plastic pipe. They're cast into it. Because the problem with when you open this, I'm not going to open it because it's full of vinegar right now. When you open it, it doesn't go straight through. It doesn't open it straight through. It has to go around a block. So the scale, these are big chunks of scale they couldn't get out of there. So I took the pipe off after I got as much water out of there as I could. I took this whole pipe off of there just to get straight access right into the water heater. And I took out the upper heating element as well. And I had the cold water connected because that comes right in from the supply. There's a funnel in there right now. And what I would do, I would open that valve. I would take a long screwdriver and stick it right up in there and canoodle it around a whole bunch, like all the way up in there, like about that deep. Right up to the hilt. And then just be shuffling left and right, left and right, left and right. And that would stir up all the scale, and it would just come pouring out. Like this whole thing was completely full, all the way right up to the top. It was just full of scale. I did that much about 3 or 4 times, and then a bunch of scale that went down in there as well. I had to keep poking at it and getting the water, getting the scale out of the way so it could drain. But I did that about 3 or 4 times, and it started getting less and less and less to where just opening and draining the water wouldn't get any scale. Like I could scrape it around in there all I wanted, nothing would come out. So the only way to get scale out of there was I had to reach up while holding the screwdriver in the hole. I had to reach up there, open the valve, and then and then I would get scale out. But I filled this whole pan with water now because you can see it's right there, and that's all the scale I got out of it. Very, very little. So I was like, all right, I'm going to call it here. I'm not going to keep making a mess because we don't have a drain in the basement and it's all wet now. And thankfully nothing's going to get damaged. But I was shaking the whole unit because I'm not in California, so it's not anchored to the ground, and all the pipes are plastic, so they can flex a little bit. But, getting it as much loose as I could. Put that funnel in the cold water fill and poured 2 gallons of white vinegar. Oops. White distilled vinegar, but that's what they had. 2 whole gallons of it. And you can actually hear it now if you're nice and quiet. Hear that little bit of fizzing and bubbling, maybe? I can hear it. And then for cleaning off the thread, like I mentioned, I got my little brass brush here. And I just did this a whole bunch. In and out, cleaning the threads out. Getting these threads nice and clean because those are plastic and I don't want to damage them. So a nice soft bristles. Same thing with this. I do this up here because you can see on the ceiling surface there's a little bit of scale right there as well. So it might have been seeping just a little bit. So I'll have to clean up that real good. And because I mainly took them out, took the heater elements out. That way when I shook it, it wouldn't damage it. And so I could get a look at the upper one. Look at that. Nice and good and clean. Just copper. A little bit of spots here and there I got to rub off. Now, it didn't come out that clean at all. No, not at all. It came out looking like this. Let me turn that light off. How much better. Look at that. Look at the difference between these two. It's all nasty built up. It wasn't broken like this one. This one came out broken. And this is the lower one right here that's still dirty. The upper one was just as dirty. But all I did was I took my fingers and scrubbed off, the big chunk of scale, and then I just dipped it in the top of that vinegar container. I opened it, left it full of vinegar, and just did that. And I was sitting there while I was mechanically removing the scale from the water tank. That took maybe an hour or so. And that's nice and clean now. I just got a little bit more to rub off. So, got the upper element clean. I got the brand new one lower ready to go in. That's put back on there. I'm probably going to pull it off when I do a final drain of the vinegar, just to make sure any additional scale, because I'm going to do additional rinses after I pull that off. I'll, reconnect the water line, of course, and I got to rinse it out some more and see if I can get another pan or two more of water and see what little bit of scale I can get out. But right now, the vinegar is in there. It's bubbling away, pulling out the scale. It doesn't clean the whole thing, because that would be a massive amount of vinegar. But it's getting where it all collects at the bottom, getting the sediment loose, getting the water out, getting the scale out of there. So that should really help improve the drinking water quality. And we're still going to run through the Brita and the filters anyway, but it should help with that because we're straight well water. There's no salt or nothing like that. So if you got hard water, well, it is quite literally hard. And highly recommend doing this. A lot of heater places recommend doing it twice a year if you got hard water and a lot of scale. So I don't know if we'll actually be doing it twice a year or even annually, because life. I just don't want to. But this thing was put in 2016. Yeah, 2016. So it's been 8 years, and this is the first time we've had an issue with it. Other than that, it's been perfectly fine. So not bad. So, all right, man. Well, there you go. If it was just an inch higher, I could have put the upper lip of the pan just slightly underneath the water tank, or if the water tank was just a little bit higher, this was just a little bit lower, I could have slipped them over and it wouldn't be such a mess down here. So highly recommend, if you're going to have to do it this way, if you have to mechanically manually remove the scale, even if it's just a temporary, like a deep cookie sheet or something that you can get completely under there, that way when you pull that pipe off and you can scrubble around in there, it's not hitting anywhere else. It's going directly into the pan. And if you're having difficulty with someone working with you, you can use the back end of that screwdriver to pop it in there real quick into the hole. Don't jam it in there too tight, because that's plastic in there. You don't want to destroy those threads, because if you destroy it, well, then you got to get a whole new water heater. So pop that in there just to block the water flow just enough where you can swap out pan or whatever else, especially if you got someone helping you. But there you go. That's how you can drain and descale your hot water tank, water heater, whatever you want to call it, if you have no drain in your basement. And this is below everything. I'm below grade, effectively. I'm below ground level. I have nowhere to put it. Yeah, that thing has already been wet before. So that's how you can do it. If you have no drains, no pipes, because the websites, they'll say, okay, hook a hose to that and put it in your drain or outside and then turn it on. It's like, but I need to get tons of scale out of there, a ton of scale out of there. I probably could have left the heater elements in and maybe put a short pipe on there to replace that one temporarily and put a hose on it and open it up and then just blasted the water out there. But I had to go all the way through the house to do that. And again, I don't have a drain, and it's also winter, so trying to drag the hoses around and everything, because it's a little cold, it's going to be a bit problematic. But I'm going to leave this right here, so that way, if that leaks, I can see I'm not even going to drain it, because that way the water is nice and full. So if this gets more water tomorrow, I'll know it's leaking. The basement's just going to have to dry out. It's not the first time it's flooded. It's flooded for other, when that line broke. But all right. I'm going to call this here for the night. Let that boil and put them back in tomorrow. Cool.